King Cyrus's fatherhood. At noon, Robert high, like only he could. The fables are bizarre but good. It's Smith Understood.
Me understood.
Wow, you did something crazy with your hands next to your face.
I was trying to be Bajork for you.
Bajork? Are we pronouncing the J now? Did I miss something?
Bajork.
Bajork. Okay.
Bonjour.
Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Misunderstood with me, Paul Bianchi, and her, Sarah Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of hoping you would do the yo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to be doing this episode with you, just hanging out with you in general. It feels like there's just been a span of a few days where it felt like a lifetime of misery.
Oh, just being away from me? No other context?
No other context. No, it just felt like, I don't know. I've been sort of buried in my room. I've created a little nest in front of my desktop computer.
Out of hair?
Out of your hair. And I've been working on.
Tell us about the books you've been working on, Paul.
On the books.
Books?
I'm working on a book that is a novelization of a film that I shot when I was 27 and was never completed. And I said, you know what? If this is failing to live as a film, I might as well turn it into a book.
Yeah.
And I want to submit it to the Watties, which is the awards for the site Wattpad.
I'm so excited for you. I'm going to Watt my pants.
And thank you. And I have to make sure that it's 50,000 words in order to qualify.
Them's a lot of words.
Yeah, them's a lot of words. It's not a lot of words for like a novel, but what I've discovered in translating any screenplay that I've written into a book is that screenplays are novellas. Like you can like write up a script and turn it into a novella, and it's going to be like 30,000 words, and that's fine. But there's a whole reason why like your favorite novels usually get turned into crappy movies.
Oh, like they left out 3 characters.
Yeah, they forgot Tom Bombadil.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's because movies are short.
Yeah.
That is my hypothesis for today.
You did it.
Yeah.
You cracked it.
So yeah, I've been working at expanding, and it's interesting to do that too, a film script, and discover like, oh wow, if this character did this and there was this additional scene here, I feel like I'm actually doing it in a way that it's enriching the story, which is nice, as opposed to just like filling it with.
Opposed doing what I did in high school when you had like a word count essay and you're like 100 away, and you're like, fuck, I don't have anything else to say. So I would go comb through, and anything that was like a shouldn't have, won't. I just made it 2 words instead. It would take hours. I'm sure it would have been quicker to just add another 100 words.
You're like, what? Can I get away with turning into in space too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me do that to your book.
Please. I need it. I use a lot of hyphenated words when I write, and they count as one word.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
You done fucked up.
I know. So what have you been up to?
I've been in a nest as well because of
my hair.
A lot of hair.
Yeah.
A lot of different colors. Mostly pubes.
Oh.
So, as everyone in the nation knows, we out here in California have had some insane fires. So last week, yeah, we were all huddled inside with our air purifiers if we were so lucky.
We had insane fires. We also had not a huge earthquake, but one that was certainly startling.
Yeah, you FaceTimed me after it and said it sounded like a large person fell down your stairs.
Yeah, well, coincidentally, that happened at the exact same time. So I'm not sure if I have a fair assessment of it. But yeah, someone made a post about like this year has been like you like went to go get a snack while you're playing SimCity and you came back and you're like, oh my God, aliens, fire, earthquake, hurricanes. It's just the worst.
It won't stop. I wouldn't, if aliens came down, I would be, I don't even know if I'd blink an eye. I'd be like, of course you're here.
Yeah.
Of course you want to start war with us right now. Duh, it's 2020.
Yeah, I always the Trekkie in me has always been like, oh yeah, well we'll make first contact and it'll be peaceful. It won't be like the
not in 2020, bitch.
No. So anyway, speaking of peacefulness, it's do you remember at all what we last talked about?
Yeah, Egyptian mythology, Paul.
Okay, great.
How about a recap for the fans?
Well, in this in my notes, I have Horus and Set Part 2, and I wrote down, to make sure I say, buckle up, it's gonna get wacky.
Ooh, all right.
So yeah, where we last left Horus, Set, and Isis, Horus had challenged Set for the throne.
This is the hippopotamus fight.
They battled as hippos, yeah.
Okay.
Isis hit Set with a harpoon.
That's right.
But healed him. Horus got mad and chopped off his mom's head.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes, I do remember this.
Yeah, so it was a cliffhanger.
Yes. Maury Povich style
Yeah.
cliffhanger.
Do you remember, did you see Sin City, that movie?
No. But you've now talked about Sim City.
Sim City and Sin City. So for those listening at home, mark that on your Paul bingo sheet this week. Yeah, in Sin City, there's a line that I think about from time to time, I guess, because it's such a gory visual. It's the line is, she doesn't quite decapitate him. She makes a Pez dispenser out of him.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. And but no, Isis is not a Pez dispenser, or
she's decapitated.
Or if it was short-lived because it fell off the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, Horus didn't just stop at chopping off his mom's head.
Oh, he's mad.
Yeah,
He's acting out.
He picked up his mom's head.
Oh my God, did he punt it?
By her hair, carried it to the top of a mountain.
Yes, he's gonna punt it.
And I wrote down that he chucked it to the other side, but sure, he punted it.
Yes.
he kicks it off, and the field goal sound goes up. But Isis is a goddess. She's a magical goddess, and she's not dead.
But her feelings are hurt.
She is pissed. I mean, as we learned from
she raised this child in a swamp.
As we learned from what Egyptians thought from the way they embalmed, nothing important was inside the human head.
I'm still looking for proof.
Yeah.
To this day of that.
It was just full of mashed potatoes, and so her brain is in her heart, and she can't see because her eyes are gone. And they understood that at least, that eyes saw.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
great, pretty straightforward.
there's great evidence there, because when you close your eyes, you can't see.
She can't hear then too.
No, she can't hear. And so she starts walking around looking for her head.
Not well.
It's like a hilarious party game.
Yeah.
And Tote spins her around. Gives her a donkey tail as well. Go find your head. Yeah, in some versions of the myth, Tote helps her and helps her find her head. But in other myths, she just like goes off by herself, wandering. So, either I feel like that's just like a sliding scale for all mythology, is like how much of a jerk are gods in the story. So in the jerkiest sense, she just goes off and searches by herself. And in some versions of this myth, Ra helps her find it. And in the case of Ra, not only does he help her find it and stick her back together, he also gives her a helmet made of a cow's head in order to protect her in case Horus gets squirrely again.
Because you can't decapitate a cow.
Well, yeah, it's a very I don't know. I can't explain away this one. I mean, he made a helmet out of this cow's head. Maybe he also put steel on the inside of it.
Yeah. Sure.
So next time Horace is like, Mom, you're being the worst. And then he slices and it just goes like clang.
I don't like that this is becoming a pattern for him.
Well, yeah, it's just it's an in case. So
Okay.
Ra does not want Horace or anyone decapitating Isis because she's the best.
She is the best.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve that.
She throws the best parties, and she'll go odd lengths to protect her family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Mm-hmm.
And she's coming back now that her head's on and is like, okay, I'm ready to talk.
Yeah.
Because physically before I couldn't.
There's a thing about oh, never mind. I'll get to that in a second. I was like, wait, where in my notes is the thing I was going to say next? And it's not there. So anyway, Horace is just plumb tuckered out from battling Set and decapitating his mom.
And punting it.
And punting her head off of a cliff. So he takes a nap.
Is he like a teen? He's a tween right now?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got
He's
angst.
also like, gods like, do the hyper age thing. So
Yeah.
like he's probably 4.
But he's a tween
Mhm.
and he's all testosteroned up right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, "Raw, I'm sleepy.
Yes.
And Set goes out searching for him. And he's searching for him because he's like, well, now I can get the upper hand if I find him without the other gods watching, even though, Ra and his eye are all seeing. This will be fine. So
Is he a hippo still?
he's not a hippo.
Damn it.
Because I mean that would be the worst. He hikes up the mountain, and as a hippo, I just feel like that would be counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So he hikes up the mountain, and it's the evening, and he sees Horace just laid out snoozing. He pulled aside a rock and turned that into a pillow, and
With his bird face?
yeah,
Does he have a bird face right now?
yeah. Horace has a bird face. Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And he made a nest out of hair.
There you go. Out of my hair.
And Set sees him and reaches for the boy and gouges out both of his eyeballs. Mm-hmm.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah. From here, just like I all of these myths, there are possibilities of what happens.
Okay, great.
Um,
Spin the wheel, baby.
First, if it was indeed both of his eyes that he gouges out, Set buries him, and in the morning they sprout into lotus blossoms. Pretty.
Okay.
Second, either Isis is not holding any grudge, Tote or Hathor, who's the cow goddess of fertility and love, restore his eyes.
So they don't put them back in. They give him new eyes.
Yeah, so that's the the idea is in the second version, either Isis, Tote, or Hathor use magic to restore his eyes.
So the 1 and 2 could go together. His actual eyeballs could be lotuses.
Yeah.
And he gets new ones.
Yeah, but there's a reason why that's also, for instance, and I'll get to that too. And one of the things that the Isis and Hathor thing, now that you understand that Ra made Isis a cow helmet,
yeah,
sometimes that sometimes Isis is depicted with this cow helmet on, and Hathor is sometimes depicted in her cow-human hybrid form. And so it's hard to distinguish who's who sometimes in hieroglyphics or in the paintings and the art.
I haven't seen Isis as a cow at all, so I guess I need to...
Yeah, and that's why I think it's like that's what these Egyptologists are trying to figure out, is that like they're like, okay, we're familiar with this myth and we're familiar with Isis doing this. Why is it Hathor in this? No, that's Hathor because Ra made her a helmet, and so it's just It's very confusing. It was a very long period of worship for these gods and goddesses, and a lot of things changed.
It's a big to moo.
Yeah. What?
I'm trying to say to do, but
A big tamu.
yeah.
All right, I see that catching on. Either way, one or both of his eyes is restored via magic.
Yeah.
Or if it's Hathor, she milks a gazelle in front of him and squirts the milk onto his eyes, and it heals him.
That's science. Yes.
Yeah. Haven't you?
Have you science?
Have you? If he loses only sometimes he loses just one eye, and that one eye is a permanent loss.
Oh, needs it.
And in certain mythology, that the distinction between these eyes is that one is the sun and the other is the moon.
What?
And so the reasoning for the phases of the moon is that like the damaged eye like winks and like needs to like close.
Oh, that's dumb.
They were trying to just figure out the sky.
It's cute.
Yeah. The Eye of Horus is used symbolically in a similar way as the Eye of Ra. They both protect pharaohs.
Wait, the eye of Horus is sentient?
Sort of, yeah.
So the one that's ripped out is floating around.
Yeah.
Is it in a relationship with the Eye of Ra?
It hates the Eye of Ra.
Stop it.
No. I don't see any evidence of them like having stories together
They could just
or
like butterfly kiss each other. Aw.
Yeah. Sometimes Horus offers this lost eye of Horus to Osiris in hopes of restoring his father's life, but Osiris is like, yeah, no thanks. I'm cool with being dead. I like it down here. I have a lot of responsibilities. We have crazy office parties today.
Oh, no. This is some cats in the cradle stuff
it's
here, huh?
Casual Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm just wearing a tie.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. So anyway, Shu, Ra, and Tote are all totes mad at Set
Stop.
for and Horus for being so hostile, and they encourage the uncle and nephew to reconcile their differences. This is, remember I said it gets wacky? This is where it really gets, like, if eye gouging and punting your mom's head was crazy, this is another level. Set clearly understands what the word reconcile means.
Okay.
What do you think he thinks that means?
What do I think he thinks that means?
Yeah.
Murder everyone in sight.
Oh, that would make more sense than what happens. Set invites Horus over to his house. He tells Nephthys, "You know what, honey? You've been pregnant so long. you should go and have a girls' night. Just you and Isis."
Yeah.
Maybe Hathor is around. We don't know.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you have my moo? Because those girls love the cow stuff.
Yeah. Here's your cow printed muumuu.
Thank you.
Yeah. She leaves. He puts on a little velvet robe. And when Horus shows up, he answers the door with cocktails in hands. Horus is young and naive and doesn't know at first that Set's pulling the old creepy uncle on him.
Stop.
Yeah. Many accounts of this tale refer to this moment as Set seducing Horus. But Set's a little bit like Zeus, you know? He doesn't discriminate in his liaisons. Aside from Nephthys, he also consorts with Taweret, the hippo goddess. He loves hippos.
Okay.
Hippo head, hippo body, droopy boobies.
Hippo boobies.
Human boobies.
No.
Yeah.
I have to see a picture of this.
Yeah, I'll show you that one later. He also hung out with a violent sphinx-like goddess named...
Violent.
Super violent. Named Astarte. and also the warrior goddess Anet, who was also known for brutality. So,
okay, this guy parties.
yeah. So seducing Horus isn't off the table. It's also worth noting that, according to many scholars, and I have to preface that, in the world of ancient Egypt, there wasn't any real distinction of homosexuality.
Oh, really?
This is contested, however, by other historians who, in my opinion, are trying to diminish the existence of LGBT people in history. But there are images in ancient Egypt that show men being intimate with other men. There are no writings that condemned or even put the practice into like another category. The thing that mattered to them was who was the top, who was doing the penetrating.
Oh.
As that proved dominance over the other person. So it still wasn't great, like what's happening. There was no respect for power bottoms in ancient Egypt. So Set thinks that if he fucks Horus, it will show his dominance.
Okay, so he's going Animal Planet style.
Yeah, and it'll convince Shu, Ra, and Toad to award him the crown.
Well, clearly,
Uh-huh.
if being a hippo and gouging my nephew's eyes didn't work, I've got to take this kid to the Abbey and make a night.
So yeah, so they're hanging out in his house, and they describe it as like it's like Set's personal abode, and Horus is like, I like what you've done with the place.
Yeah, you wanna? That's an electric fireplace.
Oh, I thought you were opening a bottle of champagne.
Also, that I did it at the same time. Buddy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good that us boys can hang out and.
Yeah. Speaking of hang out, I can see like the tip of your dick beneath your very scant robe.
Oh, you want to see the whole thing?
No, that's okay. You're.
Look at it with your good eye.
Oh no! Set convinces Horus, after many bottles of wine, to go to bed with him. He spoons him and gets an erection. And Set tries to stick it inside Horus. But Horus aptly squeezes his thighs together. This is really graphic. And so Set is rubbing it between thighs instead of putting it in.
Yep.
But thinks he's putting it in.
Make do with what you have.
And Horus puts his hands on the other side and catches the semen when it comes out.
Okay.
Horus then is traumatized for the rest of his life.
Yep.
Rolls out of bed and says, "Thanks, that was great." Puts on his clothes, leaves, and then just like runs straight to his mom.
Semen in hand?
Semen in
Stop.
hand. Knocks on her door. It's like 4 a.m, you know.
What do you want?
Mom!
Oh, it's you? I gotta put my helmet on.
Sorry for cutting off your head. And Isis is like, "It's okay. You're my son and I love you." And then he's like, "Okay, but really the reason I came by, because who cares if I cut off your head, is because Uncle Set tried to fuck me and now I have his baby juice all over my hands." When he holds out his hand to Isis screams at the sight of semen all over her son's hands.
Uh-huh.
She reaches over to her side table and grabs a copper knife and chops off Horus's hands.
Well, I think that's not respectful of the victim in this situation here.
Yeah. She, he's screaming now. He sees his hands on the ground. He's bleeding from his wrists. And she says, "Oh my God, magic. We need to use magic. You have to masturbate into a pot." And then
For why?
she pulls out a clay pot, It's 4 a.m. She's working with not all of our faculties here. And she's like, here, jack off into this pot.
Only seamen can battle seamen.
And Horace is like, you just cut off my hands. I can't
That
even
was my
mess.
jerk off hand.
I have both of my hands.
Oh, both hands?
Yeah, both hands.
Oh, he was probably cupping it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't want to spill any of it.
Yeah.
It's precious. So Isis says,
No.
okay.
No.
Rolls up her sleeves.
No.
Gives him a handy
Oh, my God.
and collects his semen in a pot.
Why, Mom? Why?
Then
This is a bad night for Horace's mental health.
She then says, you sit here. You're a god. Work on regrowing those hands. I'm gonna bury the other ones because we just don't want those. And
Why couldn't I wash my hands?
because I got a plan. So she in the morning she carries this semen, the set Horace's semen that's in the pot. There's 2 sets of semen right now.
Yep.
And she goes to Set's backyard where he grows just the most beautiful garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she's going to sprinkle some jizz on the strawberries?
It's like you've heard the story before. She runs into Set's gardener. He doesn't have a name. What do we want to call him?
Tom.
Tom. She says, Tom, you look nice today.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Goddess.
You're welcome. I'm not in my crone form. Anyway, I don't know why that's important.
You have a scar on your neck that goes completely all around.
Oh,
You okay?
I meant to wear my 90s choker to cover that. What? I'm just here because I'm wondering what sort of vegetable is Set's favorite to eat?
Oh yeah. He loves Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, he's it's not Brussels sprouts because the gardener says, funny you should ask because he's so basic. He does not eat any vegetable in this garden except for iceberg lettuce.
Oh, gross.
That's all he wants. He does not want nutrition. He just eats the white part of the iceberg lettuce. He just does not like the greens.
Mm-hmm.
And Isis is like, well, has he ever had it with ranch dressing?
Stop.
She does not say that, but you get the implication. She sprinkles Horace's semen all over the lettuce.
Okay, so we're just in a prank war now.
Set then wakes up after having just the best dreams from after just falling asleep after attempting to rape his nephew. He goes outside and picks his lettuce leaves as he normally does. Does not notice that they are gross.
Doesn't wash them.
Does not bother washing them. No.
Okay.
This was back in the day though, before there was like not all the insects had been created, not all of the germs have been created. So he was, people didn't wash their
You think
vegetables.
that's how it works?
Yeah.
You think humans came before insects and germs?
Yes. In this mythology, absolutely. So yeah, then he just like makes a big bowl of lettuce and goes yum yum yum, delicious.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
Batch is a little bitter, but
after she had deposited that, she also threw Horace's semen-covered hands into. She either buried them or
pits of hell.
or she threw them into a swamp. There's a whole bunch of different places she could have put them. After his hearty breakfast, Set goes back to the tribunal, the Shu and Tote and Ra, and he declares with confidence, let me be awarded the office of ruler. For as Horace, who the one who is in standing, I have performed the labor of a male against him.
The labor of a male.
Yeah, that's a translation there.
I hope that goes mainstream.
Yeah. Horace was also there at the tribunal. He's probably got like little like half baby hands because they're in the middle of growing out of his wrists. He's like Kristen Wiig's character on SNL.
I saw it in my mind.
And I'm Doonies. And he says, all that Seth has said is false. Let Seth's semen be summoned so that we may see from where it answers.
What?
And my own be summoned so that we may see from where it answers.
Let me talk to my little guys.
Tote looks, with his ibis head, is just like, yes, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And he looks at Shu and he looks at Ra and he says, well, I'm that guy. So he walks over to Horace and says, come out, you semen of Set. And it answered him and started to call back to him from the marsh along the Nile where...
and it could just hear it from over there.
Yeah.
Is he psychically communicating with the semen hands?
It's God semen, Sarah.
I'm sorry. Or what I'm wondering is, can the whole town all of a sudden hear this like earthquaking... the sperm.
I like to imagine the latter. Yeah.
Okay.
I, the semen of Set, announce from the hands of Horus that are decapitated or removed and put in the swamp me marsh that I am here.
Yeah.
Holler!
Claps his.
Ew. I can hear it. The
Squish,
clap.
squish, squish, squish.
Then the god then Tote put his hands on Set's shoulder and said, come out, you semen of Horus.
This is a weird exorcism.
And because it had been ingested within the lettuce leaves, it answered from inside Seth's stomach, which was a surprise to Seth. How did you get there? Deeming itself... This is what I don't understand. This is a direct quote from what I read. Deeming itself too important to just leak out of Set's ear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
Well, okay, you are really fucking, pulling at straws here, because before you were fine with it screaming out of a severed hand.
But there's so many things.
It's extremely sentient, Paul.
But to just leak out of Set's ear, like that, I guess, like they didn't have a full understanding of anatomy. And
if anyone should have, it was them. They're ripping everything out.
Yeah. How would it get from his stomach to his ear canal?
Well, it was just looking at all of the exit signs, right?
Yeah. Okay. So the divine seed emerged from his head in the form of a golden solar disc.
Duh. The first CD-ROM.
A laser disc.
Laser disc, yeah.
Tote sees the semen form this beautiful golden crown on top of Set's head and is like, oh my god, I must have this for myself. So he placed it as a crown upon his own head.
What?
So we must remember, in any myth that involves Tote from henceforth, is that he wears a cum crown.
Where's a cum crown?
God of wisdom.
Wait, this isn't the end of the tale, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. This continues on for too long. Despite this damning evidence,
beautiful damning
evidence, Set somehow convinced the trio of judges to stage one more contest. He says, wait. I know it looks like Horus fucked me, but I swear I just ate cummy lettuce. So hear me out. We need to have a race of ships down the Nile.
Ships?
Yes.
That doesn't even show you who is literally faster.
No. It's to show who's godlier. Because these won't just be any regular ships. These are going to be ships made of stone. And only the godliest among the two of us are going to be able to figure out how to race a ship that's made out of stone.
The gods are very dumb. Meanwhile, all of humankind is like, we are starving. We want water.
He says, a true king will be able to make do with improper tools. But by the time of the race, Set's like, fuck, what have I done? I don't know how to make a stone boat sail. He like tried making it really thin.
And it was his idea.
Yeah. He tried making the stone really thin, and it's still like the water seeps through if it's too thin, and if it's too heavy, it sinks. So the boat the race starts. Probably Hippo Goddess fires a gun or claps her breasts together.
Oh God!
And when the race begins, Set's boat is like leaves port and just sinks immediately. Mm-hmm. Horace's boat, however, floats along the water, for he had tricked everyone by making his boat out of pine.
Yes, he did a faux finish.
And covered it with a faux finish of gypsum, so that it looked like it was made out of stone.
Yes.
Everyone's like, oh my gosh, he did it. He is the true god. And Set is like running along the side, probably as a hippo, and is like, no, I can't believe you did this, and jumps on the boat and breaks it in half and exposes his deceit when you see all of the wooden splinters everywhere.
So, okay, again, we're at a draw.
Yeah, so it's a draw.
Very stupid draw yet again.
Mm-hmm. In a final myth of this conflict, Ra decides to hold a council to decide between Horus and Set. He invites Shu, Nut, Geb, Tefnut.
Who's Geb?
Geb is the Earth.
Oh, okay.
Tefnut, Osiris, Nephthys.
Osiris got to come?
Mm-hmm.
Even though he did?
Special ticket, yeah.
Okay.
Tote, and Horus and Set. He specifically does not invite Iris because he feels that she has been too biased and involved already.
Iris or Isis?
Isis. Did I say Iris?
Yeah.
He doesn't invite Iris, the Greek goddess of the rainbow, also. They hold this council on a secret island, and the only way to get there is via a magical boat run by a ferryman named Nempty. And he says to him, don't you dare let Isis cross.
And then slips him a 20.
Yeah. Isis pulls out her old woman disguise.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Walks up to Nempty and is like, hey, I'm with catering. Let me on. The ferryman is easily tricked. I mean, this disguise is foolproof.
Yeah.
There, of course, like, even though all those gods are invited, there is, I mean, it's like a day event. Like, they brought servants, they brought gardeners, like
Tom's there.
Tom's there, of course.
Aww.
And so Isis gets to the council.
Got a lot of iceberg lettuce, Mr. Set.
She brought in her handbag another disguise, though.
Oh, a mustache on top of a mustache.
Yeah. She removes her old woman disguise in her catering uniform, and then she changes instead to a beautiful, like, sexy lady.
That's already what she is.
Yeah, but she's a different beautiful, sexy lady.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And
puts on, like, extensions and
yeah.
Yeah.
And she starts to cry on the beach because no one. Do you know what's sexier than a beautiful woman? Is a crying beautiful
yes,
woman.
yes. Anytime I've sat on a corner, on a curb in LA crying, the men come swarming.
Yeah, what's wrong? Who did this to you? Can I help put it in you? Set walks up to her, looking to have a sexy beach fling before the council meeting starts.
Just know for sure, bitch, I'm on top. I'm not gonna be tricked again.
Set's like, what's wrong? Do you like to party?
I'm just, it's so sad, and I'm just vulnerable, and I could just do crazy things with my mouth right now.
Oh, wow, that's terrible. Why are you so sad? And she proceeds to tell him, a man killed my husband and took all my property. Now he's threatening to beat my son and throw him out of the house. Will you protect my son? And Set's like, we'll say anything to get laid.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, well, I think that man who should be beaten with a rod and expelled from the land, your son should be given everything his father would have left him. And the moment that he says that, Isis snaps her fingers, it transforms into a bird and flies up into a tree and begins to shout, "Shame on you! You have judged yourself with your own words. Shame, 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 shame." All the other gods are like, what the fuck is with that bird? Like, I've never heard a bird make a shame call before. Nephthys is like, I have.
Yeah.
But they all look and they see, as this myth put it, Isis's cleverness. But
I got you on camera.
yeah, and they all understand. They can hear his hypocrisy. Like, and this was at a time when using other people's hypocritical words against them actually was effective. Politics. But Ra was like, saw the spectacle, was like, oh yeah, this is great, but also like turns.
You kind of made him sound like Jerry Seinfeld just then.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, that was great.
Oh yeah, this is great. But Ra also turns over to Nempty, the ferryman, and is so mad that he let Isis across that he's like, hey Nempty, come here.
Oh no, he's gonna get split in half.
And he's like, you know what? I'm so mad at you, but I think this is still working out, so I'm only going to give you like a partial punishment. Give me your feet.
Oh, I use those.
Yeah, well, you can still walk on them without your toes. And
What?
he chops off all of Nempty's toes
Aw.
and makes them into a soup.
Yep.
So in some versions of this tale, the council decides here and now that Horus should be king and Set should go be beaten with a rod and expelled, just as Set himself said.
Mm-hmm.
Other times, Osiris alone decides who should be king, and of course he chooses his son. I don't know why he's granted that power in this version. And in other versions, this council still results in a stalemate because Isis was allowed across, and thus it's like your evidence has been tampered with. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so Horus and Set meet on a final battlefield where Horus defeats Set and either spares his life or kills him. Again,
What?
so many versions.
But he still exists in future myths.
In some future myths, he's
been expelled or dead.
Yeah, because he's either expelled or dead, or he's still hanging around.
What?
Yeah, I know it's tough. Sometimes he even gives part of his kingdom to Set. He's like, you know what, you did a fine job ruling. I just want the part the good part.
I want the good stuff.
Yeah, I want the.
You can have Dumpster Town.
Mm-hmm. The final outcome is the same. Horus wins a seat of power and becomes the new god king on Earth, and that's how
we have our god king today.
Yeah, that's how it ends.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to say the cum wars. Those are tough years.
It was years.
Yeah.
Just water balloons full of them.
Oh God. Yeah, that is certainly the most graphic details that we've heard in a myth, I think, thus far, right?
I mean, in Norse we had diarrhea.
Well, that's just fun.
We had a golden shower in Greek mythology.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sterile.
Okay. Yeah, the cum wars takes the cake, which I think
so.
is just a gross sentence to say in
Yeah.
general. Keep that away from my cake.
And my garden.
No, you can just keep it in the garden.
You've tried this combination of iceberg and
You know what? You don't need if you're having trouble finishing the sentence, it's best that I not even answer.
cum.
Boy.
Hey there, ladies. Do you have tits? Well, we have bras at this anamorph tit shop. Any kind of boobs you have as an anamorph animal hybrid, we've got you covered.
I'm part cow. Do you have something for my breasts and udder?
Absolutely. We are going to utterly stun you with this sequin bra with a push-up
Oh,
and these dangly things that encompass your udders.
I have a reptile head, so sometimes I have breasts, and when I'm a full reptile, I don't have breasts. Do you have a bra that can do both?
Well, you're just going to have to take it off when you're a reptile. Here you go.
I'm just a floating eyeball and don't have breasts, but I want to feel like I do. Do you have something for me?
Yes. This is perfume.
Oh my god, it stings.
Just try it.
It stings.
Just try it.
No.
We serve all kinds of titties. We got reptiles and cows and especially hippopotami.
What sad flautist was in the background of that?
Flotus.
A flautist. What sad first lady was in the background?
Just making crazy eyes.
Well, thanks for listening to this
You're welcome.
horrific tale.
Yeah, you better be thanking me.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun learning about it and was also triggered. So we'll just put that out there. Anyway, so if you, after this episode that was just so semen-y, if you want to keep listening to us and listening to our exploits, please follow us on social media at _mythunderstood on Twitter and Instagram. You can find that thing, Sarah Oliver, at the Sarah Oliver on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find this thing, Paul Bianchi, at the Paul Bianchi. Where you're twirling your hair and making the most insane face at me right now. Please also continue to show support to our parent network, Dragon Wagon Radio, at It's Dragon Wagon on Twitter and Instagram. And check out our Patreon and our shop for, wear a shirt.
Yeah, wear a shirt.
We have the giggles.
Yeah, that too.
All right, have a good day. Bye.
Night.
James Baldwin once wrote, "I am what time, circumstance, and history have made of me, certainly, but I am also much more than that." And that's really why I wanted to start Black on Black. My name is Julian Michael. I'm a comedian, I'm a writer, I'm an educator. I do a lot of things, but really, Black on Black isn't about me. It's about sharing stories of all kinds of people from across the diaspora, and I hope that when you listen, you'll learn something, you'll enjoy, and you'll start a conversation. Check out Black on Black right here on Dragon Wagon Radio.
It's Dragon Wagon.